Hello everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck centered around the promo card from the 3-pack Evolutions blister, and that is Black Kyurem. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. And as for the question of the day, because this deck is centered around a promo card, my question of the day is going to have to be, what is your favorite non-EX promo card? I'm saving the EX question for a little bit later. But yeah, what is your favorite non-EX promo card? And I know that there have been so many that have come out that have competitive viability. Well, actually, only one particularly comes to mind, and that's the Jirachi with Stardust. I mean, that was in almost every single deck as a one-of tech card when Night March was running rampant. And then there was also the Celebi with the Leap Through Time ability, where if it gets knocked out, you flip a coin, and if heads, your opponent doesn't take a prize. And I mean, that kind of saw like really niche viability as a staller in different decks. But I would have to say that despite all of those, and even despite the really cool promos like the full art Arceus, the full art Keldeo from all the mythical collections, my favorite promo card is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Magikarp. The Golden Magikarp promo from, I don't even remember what that was from, but either way, this card is my favorite. And yes, you might be thinking, why the heck is it Magikarp? Well, my question for you is, why the heck would it not be Magikarp? I mean, this card really just looks kind of sort of awesome, and how often is there a freaking Magikarp card that is holographic? I mean, that never happens, and Magikarp has just gotten so little love throughout its, well, really its life. I mean, the only good thing about it is that it evolves at level 20. And honestly, this card I think is just so cool, giving Magikarp just a little bit of something. Just be like, you know what, we'll give you a shiny card. We'll make you holographic too if that makes you feel better. So, yep, this is my favorite non-EX promo card. What is your guys' favorite non-EX promo? Leave a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear which card is your guys' favorite and why. But like I said, this deck is centered around Black Kyurem, the blister, or the card from the 3-pack blister that is currently in the shop right now. So I encourage you guys to go check it out. Well, at least I hope it's in the shop. I'm planning to delay this video just a little bit for reasons, but either way, just keeping with the upload schedule. Black Kyurem, I'm making this deck right now, and I'm hoping to put it up very soon. But either way, this Black Kyurem is very similar to the White Kyurem, except it has one additional energy cost for its attacks, but its attacks are a little bit better. Ice Wing does 60, and I mean, it doesn't have the bench sniping that Burning Icicles did from the White Kyurem, but the attack that we are focusing on is Frosty Thunder, 120 damage. If this Pokemon has any lightning energy attached to it, this attack does 20 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so it does 120 to the active and 20 to all of the bench Pokemon. That is honestly a little bit better than, what was it, I don't even remember what was White Kyurem's attack? Okay, now it's bugging me that I can't remember. Let's look up Kyurem, and then I have to go to the filters, get rid of the promo, apply it, and Blizzard Burn, that's right, that's what it was. So this is actually a little bit better than Blizzard Burn. It has 10 less damage, but really the difference between 120 and 130, and then with a Fighting Fury belt, 130 and 140, isn't that significant overall. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some niche situations where that extra 10 damage can come in handy, but the fact that Frosty Thunder hits for 120 and 20 to each bench Pokemon is better overall as an attack, but I think that the single extra energy cost makes Black Kyurem significantly worse than White Kyurem. But again, that is just my opinion, and either way, I am doing a deck with this card, and I think that this card can actually be very solid given the right build. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, Sticks, isn't this just a ripoff of your White Kyurem build? And yeah, it is. You're completely right on that one. I may or may not have just copied and pasted my White Kyurem build and then altered some stuff for the current metagame and went from there. So, sorry, but either way, this build still is very effective and works very well. Running the 2 Smeargle for the second coat ability. Once during your turn, you may switch a basic energy card attached to your active Pokemon with a different type of energy card in your discard pile, or basic energy card. This is where we can get those lightning energy into our discard pile, well, in our discard pile, onto our Black Kyurem in order to abuse Frosty Thunder to its complete effectiveness. And then we're running 2 of those guys just because they are kind of vital to the strategy. Also running 2 Manaphy EX because Aqua Tube in a water deck is phenomenal. Gives free retreat to any of your Pokemon that have water energy attached to it. So if your opponent tries to like Lysander install with your Octillery or Kyurem, because Kyurem still has heavy retreat cost in 3. If your opponent tries to Lysander up like Octillery with 2, Kyurem with 3, Palkia with 2, slap a water energy onto those guys and they have free retreat, so Manaphy is just invaluable in this deck. Running 3 Palkia EX for the water acceleration with Aqua Turbo. Just 2 energy, search your deck for 2 water energy and attach them to one of your bench Pokemon. Powers up a Kyurem almost immediately. Well, not almost immediately. It gets it halfway there. Still need a couple manual attachments. And Kyurem, Black Kyurem is a lot slower than White Kyurem. Just throwing that out there. But it's still a very cool card once you can get it going. And then with Palkia, you are able to get energy accelerated to it pretty frequently. And then as for the draw support, 2/2 of Remoraid and Octillery. Just because we're running water types, might as well run this guy. And especially in a deck that's as slow as this, we have time to set up Octillery. And if we don't have time to set up Octillery, well, we're not going to have time to set up Kyurem anyway. So you might as well just go with Octillery, make this deck a little bit more budget friendly. As for the items for Dive Ball to get all of our Pokemon out, really the only Pokemon that you, well, actually not really the only Pokemon you cannot get with Dive Ball is Smeargle. And while Smeargle is very vital to the strategy, at the same time you don't always need it if you can manage to get a manual attachment of a lightning energy to Black Kyurem. So running 4 Dive Ball is the best option in this deck because all of the extremely vital cards can be sought out with Dive Ball. 4 Max Elixir to hopefully speed up Black Kyurem and Palkia attacking. There have been times where I've been able to hit 2 Max Elixir and get a Palkia attacking with Aqua Turbo first turn. And, I mean, granted, I did go second, so I guess technically second turn, but it was my first turn. Anyway, that's just ramblings at that point. So, 4 Max Elixir to speed up the process, 1 Super Rod to put some stuff back in the deck, 1 Switch so we don't have to rely on Manaphy for everything, 4 Trainer's Mail to help with the consistency of this deck, 2 Ultra Ball to guaranteed get whatever we want. This is for Smeargle if you need it, or Octillery or whatever. 4 VS Seeker to reuse all of our supporters. And as for the supporters, we're running my standard 4/2 of Sycamore and N, 1 Pokemon Ranger so we don't auto lose to things like Jolteon, and then 2 Lysander because, like I've said over and over again, Lysander, all the competitive decks, or 99% of them, or 98, I don't know, I don't do math even though I'm a math major. A lot of the competitive decks are running 2 Lysander now, so again, trying to cater my decks more towards those. 2 Rough Seas to give Black Kyurem a little bit more longevity. 2 Fighting Fury Belt to help power him up a little bit and also help with the whole longevity thing. And then 3/9 of Lightning Energy and Water Energy. You can definitely tinker with this line, like maybe run 10 Water Energy and 2 Lightning Energy. I don't know, I just really like this line and it's worked well for me, so that's the line that I've decided to go with. But either way, very, very straightforward deck. I tried to make this as streamlined as possible to be able to Frosty Thunder as often as possible and as quickly as possible. So, done rambling. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Professor XY with a Psychic deck. So, if this is a Mega Mewtwo deck, we kind of just get destroyed because a Mega Mewtwo with simply a DCE can knock out a fully powered Kyurem. We do win the coin flip, so that's nice for us. It's definitely beneficial to go first. I mean, you can potentially get an Aqua Turbo off turn 1, given the right combination of cards, but I'm going to be honest, you always want to go turn 1 with this deck. There's really no particular boost to going turn 2. I mean, potentially getting that very slim chance of pulling off an Aqua Turbo turn 1 and being able to hit immediately is very nice. But at the same time, it's like, you know what, you might as well just go for the consistency. Just go first and do whatever you can, get set up, and then you can attack first turn anyway, so you don't need to worry about it. And okay, we start with a Smeargle. That is phenomenal. Would have liked a Palkia. Definitely would have liked a Palkia. Or at least a Kyurem. At least something to where I could attack. And okay, we see the Mewtwo? That's weird. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play a Water Energy and a Fighting Fury Belt onto my Smeargle because I'm going to discard that stuff anyway. And booyah. Don't get anything. Well, I get an Ultra Ball. So that's something. What I can do is Ultra Ball, get rid of a Water Energy and Noctillery to grab a Palkia. Go ahead and get that thing going. Play that down, then just end my turn there. I mean, I'm going to Sycamore next turn anyway, and the reason I kept my Smeargle is in case my opponent plays like a Rattata, Fighting Fury Belt. Actually, I don't know. I don't even know if there's anything my opponent could do to knock out my Smeargle this turn, but I mean, I'm just preparing for worst case scenario, like if something funky happens and okay, we see the Silent Lab. I mean, that's fine because Smeargle has one energy as a one energy retreat anyway. So, okay, I get a Lysander. I'm going to play the energy onto my Palkia, then just Sycamore again, get rid of more stuff, and then, alright, I get a Black Kyurem. That's something. Let's play the Remoraid down. Play the Max Elixir. There we go. Let's power up my Palkia. Go ahead and get that thing going. Play the Black Kyurem down. Play the Manaphy down. Go ahead and play the Rough Seas. Retreat my Smeargle into my Palkia, and then start getting my Black Kyurem powered up. Do 40 damage. That is a whopping 40, not just 40, a whopping 40. Power up the Kyurem, and now I have another Sycamore for next turn, so this is very much a, well, don't draw anything, let's Sycamore. Well, didn't draw anything again, let's Sycamore again. And I'm eventually getting going. You know what? Turn 2 isn't... a turn 2 Aqua Turbo is just fine. Like, that's what you anticipate with this deck, and my opponent will be able to hit me or not. Goes for a barrier, so let's see if I'm going to put the energy onto the Black Kyurem. Go ahead and Dive Ball, see what I can get. Let's grab an Octillery, draw into some more cards, and if I can hit a Max Elixir, I actually win. Because if I get an energy onto the Kyurem, I can go ahead and Pokemon Ranger, and okay, let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail, see if we can get one. Oh, we do get one, so if we hit a Max Elixir, we win because Palkia can retreat into my Black Kyurem. I play the Ranger, and I don't hit it. Well, that's unfortunate. So what I am going to go ahead and do is... Still want to Sycamore again? Yeah, let's Sycamore again. Why the heck not? Go through as many cards as possible, as quickly as possible. Alright, let's Dive Ball. See what we can grab. Let's grab another Remoraid. Sure, that's fine. And the problem is I drew into my other Water Energy, so that means that Aqua Turbo won't be doing anything at all. So yeah, let's go for that. Get nothing and do no damage. So a bit unfortunate. We went through quite a few resources very quickly, but that's what happens when you Sycamore 3 turns in a row and don't really get to play anything in the process. And okay, my opponent finally draws a Sycamore. So this looks like it could actually be a game. Looks like it could be a game. Looks like we're up against a Mega Mewtwo X deck. That's really cool. I've been wanting to build a standard Mega Mewtwo X deck for a little while, although I really haven't come across a particularly good build for it. I mean, it has to be... It's very inconsistent. Let's just put it that way. And my opponent plays a... What? Dude, that's not how Spirit Links work. You have to evolve it from a Mega Mewtwo. So yeah, let's just go ahead and retreat my Palkia into my Kyurem. Go ahead and Rough Seas, and then win the game with a Frosty Thunder. I mean, we don't have to worry about changing the energy or anything like that just because we went ahead and win. But yeah, we do win that first one. That was unfortunate. My opponent couldn't draw anything, so... Very quick match. I mean, you saw how this deck is supposed to work, but hopefully I'm going to... Well, I mean, not hopefully. I am going to try to find another match with this deck where hopefully my opponent gets set up better so it can turn into a little bit better of a game. So yeah, be right back. Let's go ahead and try to find another one. Alrighty, we have found another one against Chiwi IQ. I don't even know. We do get a call to coin flip. Do we get to go first? We do not. That's a bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. I'm curious to see what my opponent is running. So we saw a fighting and water deck, so really not sure what he's running. I mean, I do start with a Remoraid, which stinks a little bit, but if I can get the right combination of cards, I can pull off an Aqua Turbo turn 1. And okay, we see the Manaphy. That'll be interesting. Oh, and a Glaceon. Oh, that's really good for us because that means that Black Kyurem will not be stopped by Glaceon at all. And even with Fighting Fury Belt, Frosty Thunder, obviously with a... Well, actually, not even with a Fighting Fury Belt attached, will be able to knock out the Glaceon in 2 shots. And then also, I mean, I can one-shot Manaphy and Shaman, so that's a pretty solid thing. And yeah, we do see the Fighting Fury Belt go down, more than likely onto the Glaceon. Yeah, there we go. And my opponent got a pretty solid start, I would say. I do get a Smeargle. Do I want to play it? I don't really think so. Let's just go ahead and Sycamore. I mean, I had to get rid of my Super Rod turn run with one, which really stinks. But what I can do, go ahead and grab Palkia, Dive Ball for a Manaphy, and then... Do I want to Dive Ball for an Octillery, or... You know, I think I'm just going to Dive Ball, go ahead and grab a Black Kyurem. Yeah, let's grab a Black Kyurem just so I can play that Lightning Energy onto it immediately next turn, and then go ahead and retreat into my... I want to retreat into my Palkia. Kind of, yeah. Even though I won't be able to Aqua Turbo next turn. I mean, I just don't want my Remoraid to get knocked out by... Okay, my opponent just attaches and passes. That is great for me. What I am going to do, go ahead and Trainer's Mail, grab a... Ooh, Max Elixir. Alright, well, there were 2 energy in that Trainer's Mail. Let's see if I can get a Max Elixir hit. Yes, we do. Let's just start powering up the Kyurem. I'm gonna just kind of avoid the whole Kyurem this turn, or the Palkia route this game. So let's go ahead and play the energy there. Go ahead and Max Elixir, get another energy. You know what? Screw it. I am just going to completely power up my Kyurem, and then Dive Ball for the Octillery to get some draw support in there. I want to hold off on playing the Rough Seas just because that will benefit my opponent. I'm playing the Palkia down just so I can get a couple more cards with Abyssal Hand. And, I mean, you know what? This isn't bad. Let's play the Fighting Fury Belt onto my Palkia. And, do I want to play it onto the Palkia, or do I want to save it for another Black Kyurem? What I think I'm going to do, just Ultra Ball, get rid of the Lysander and the other Octillery for another Black Kyurem, and then play that sucker down and play the Fighting Fury Belt onto it. And, yeah, that'll be it. I still need a combination of a Switch and an energy, or a... What else do I need? Switch and an energy, or a Max Elixir and a Water Energy in order to retreat my Palkia and be able to attack with Kyurem. My opponent just does attach to Manaphy and then Second Bites. I am going to play the Rough Seas now, and then Abyssal Hand for 4 cards, hopefully get something that I can work with. There we go. Play the Water Energy onto my Black Kyurem. Play the Switch. Go ahead and switch into my Black Kyurem. Play the Trainer's Mail, see what else I can get. Yeah, let's get a Max Elixir. See if we can start powering up my other Black Kyurem, because you know what? I have the other Water Energy in my hand, or the Lightning Energy in my hand. I can potentially get that going. Go ahead and Rough Seas. And then go for a Frosty Thunder. Hit the Glaceon for 130 damage. We'll be able to 2-shot that thing next turn, and there's nothing my opponent can do to keep from Glaceon getting knocked out. I mean, granted, the Frosty Thunder will repeatedly get healed off of the Manaphy because of Rough Seas, but at this point, it really doesn't matter because I can now just completely heal up my Kyurem again, and okay, my opponent just forfeits, so you know what, at least this time we were able to attack with Kyurem as opposed to last one. Well, I mean, I guess we were able to attack with Kyurem in the first game, but at least in this one, we were able to get going somewhat quicker than before and start hitting my opponent with a full power Frosty Thunder instead of just a full Water Energy. So, yeah, again, another quick match. Sorry about that. Let's just go ahead and try to find one more and keep our fingers crossed that it lasts a little longer than the first 2 did. Alrighty, we have found another one against Sonic 394 with a dark water lightning, I don't even know. But either way, we do win the coin flip. That's nice. Oh, it looks like we have another person who calls Tails. It is always fun to meet a fellow Tailser and, well, get something. Gonna have to discard both my Lysanders turn 1, which isn't the worst thing in the world just because you can VS Secret them back in, but I like to have one in the deck and one in the discard pile. That way you don't have to completely rely on VS Seeker in order to get your Lysanders back. That's also why I kind of prefer leaning towards 2 Lysanders as opposed to 1, just because you have that option as well. Start off okay. I mean, Remoraid active, that's not what you want, but I mean, it's something that's tolerable, especially with the whole Max Elixir thing needing to go to the bench. And draw another Remoraid. Okay. Well, that is phenomenal. Looks like I'm going to have to get rid of my Super Rod first turn again, which is something I really, really do not want to do. And then get a Palkia, get a Black Kyurem. What I can do is, yeah, go ahead and Dive Ball for an Octillery just to grab that. And then, So, I mean, my opponent starts a Shaman, so I'm thinking that he doesn't have that good of a start, and I'm leaving my Remoraid active just because I'm not really worried about that thing getting knocked out, especially because my opponent just goes ahead and attaches a Water Energy to his Shaman, so he is just going to Lysander in something. Brings in Black Kyurem, that's not a huge deal. What I am going to do is go ahead and play the Water Energy onto Palkia, go ahead and evolve into Octillery, and then Dive Ball probably for... Yeah, let's Dive Ball for another Black Kyurem. Go ahead and play that sucker down, and then go ahead and end. Gives my opponent a new hand, but that's not too huge of a deal. Okay, I do draw a switch. What I actually think I'm going to do is just end my turn right there. Save the switch for next turn. That way I can just manually attach the energy to Palkia and then switch into it and then Aqua Turbo. I mean, I'm getting off to a very slow start, but so is my opponent, so I'm not too worried. And okay, puts a Rainbow Energy onto Shaman. Is he just gonna Sky Return or something? Plays the Rough Seas, so I'm honestly not sure what my opponent's running. Okay, he has a Ninja Boy. Goes into the Regice. I mean, is he just gonna try to paralyze me? Well, I guess, okay, that was kind of cool. I mean, Rainbow Energy into Regice and then immediately Rough Seas. Goes for the Ice Beam. Paralyze me. Yes, he does. And that's precisely why I saved the switch. Because I can play the Fighting Fury Belt onto that Kyurem. It really doesn't matter because both of them are going to be completely powered up anyway. Or both of them are going to be completely healthy. So it doesn't matter which Kyurem I went into. There's one Water Energy in my discard pile. So you know what? Just to not risk drawing into any more Water Energy, I'm going to go ahead and Aqua Turbo right now without going for Octillery or anything else. Just, I don't want to draw into those cards at all. And now what I can do next turn is play a Lightning Energy onto my Kyurem on the bench. My opponent's Regice is going to get knocked out in one turn anyway. Well, unless he Ninja Boys again. For an Eviltal, that's interesting. So is he just going to Evil Ball? I mean, that's kind of scary because he will be able to hit my Palkia for a really good amount of damage. And what I can do is just go ahead and Rough Seas, play the Lightning onto the Black Kyurem on the bench. And I could go for an N or a Sycamore, but I think I'm just going to Abyssal Hand at this point just because I don't want to draw into... I don't want to draw into more Water Energy. I don't want to give my opponent a fresh hand, and I don't want to discard all the energies I have anyway. So I am just going to go ahead... Aqua Turbo, get 2 more energy onto my Black Kyurem, have 2 of them ready. This way, I can knock out my opponent's Eviltal next turn when he inevitably knocks out my Palkia EX. And my opponent has to discard 2 switches, which is phenomenal. That means he doesn't have. That means he won't have it later. And okay, he does get a Trubbish up. That could be a little bit annoying later, but I don't think that'll be too big of a deal. My opponent is just gonna Max Elixir onto the Trubbish. I mean, I guess he's going all out with a Ninja Boy. I mean, putting multiple energy onto Trubbish. Well, I mean, if it works, it works. He is just going to Evil Ball, knock out my Palkia, get a couple more prizes. And at this point, I can promote my Kyurem, and I can just end my opponent down to a few... End my opponent down, get 6 cards for me, put cards back into my deck while also putting my opponent down to 4 cards. And I'll be able to knock out this Kyurem, and I even get a Max Elixir, so that is phenomenal. I'm going to play the Smeargle down so I can have that Lightning Energy when I need it. I whiff on the Max Elixir. That is a little bit unfortunate, but what I am going to go ahead and do is Frosty Thunder, knock out this Eviltal EX, get 20 damage onto the Trubbish, get 2 prizes, and yeah, in a very solid position. I mean, unless my opponent gets like a... DCE into a... Well, there's the DCE. Do we see the Lugia? If we see a Lugia EX, then I could be in a little bit of trouble. But actually, even... a Lugia EX wouldn't knock me out because that'd only be doing 160, and he can't put a Fighting Fury Belt on because he has the Float Stone already onto the Trubbish. My opponent does just grab the Shaman. That is fine. That is a Lysander target for later in the game. And, okay, gets the VS Seeker. I mean, he won't be able to use it this turn because he already played his... Did he already play his supporter? I can't remember if my opponent played his supporter or not. But, okay, so Lysander and a couple N. Oh, a couple Lysander and N and a couple Sycamore are in the discard pile. I wonder what my opponent is going to do right now. I mean, we're tied at 4 prizes, but I think if my opponent had a Darkness Energy or a Rainbow Energy on the Trubbish right now, he could Ninja Boy into an Eviltal and knock me out and then pretty much just knock me out of the game. But because he doesn't have a Rainbow Energy down, I think I'm safe. So we do see the VS Seeker for the Ninja Boy. My opponent... I mean, unless if there was some way he could get a Darkness Energy, I'd be in trouble. But because he does not, I'm fine for right now because Eviltal will be hit by a Frosty Thunder for 130 if he decides to go into it. He does just go into a Jolteon, so that's interesting. He will be able to Rough Seize off 20 damage, which, I mean, that works. I do have... Ooh. I'm out of Water Energy, and I have no way of getting them back because I had to discard my Super Rod turn 1, so I am just going to have to rely completely on Lightning Energy for the rest of the game. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Octillery and the Black Kyurem. I'm fishing... I'm really fishing for my Pokemon Ranger at this point, or access to my Pokemon Ranger, so let's play down the Manaphy just cuz. Go ahead and max Elixir with again. So that's unfortunate. Go ahead and Trainer's Mail for another VS Seeker. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab another VS Seeker. And honestly, okay, let's go ahead and Abyssal Hand, get a couple more cards. There we go. There's my Pokemon Ranger. That's what I'm talking about. And let's go ahead and grab the Fighting Fury Belt with the Trainer's Mail, play that onto my other Black Kyurem in case I need to start hitting for like 70 damage or something like that. And then Frosty Thunder, set the Jolteon up to be knocked out next turn with either a Frosty Thunder from this Kyurem or a Ice Wing or whatever that is with my other Kyurem if he somehow manages to knock it out. And even if my opponent does Flash Ray again, which I'm guessing he's going to do, I have 2 VS Seekers in my hand. I can go ahead and just Pokemon Ranger up, get rid of the whole Flash Ray abilities for next turn, and go from there. So, I mean, I even have a VS Seeker for another Lysander if I need it. And my opponent just going to Ultra Ball. Wonder what he is going to grab, because I don't think... Just grab Trubbish, so I guess he's completely relying on top decks at this point. I will be able to knock out the Jolteon next turn because of the Pokemon Ranger, and unless my opponent ends me, I will be able to Lysander in that Shaman and knock it out with a Frosty Thunder. That just sounds like a really... That just sounds weird. That just sounds like a weird attack, like, I'm gonna go for a Frosty Thunder. And there we go. Let's go ahead and, well, first... Rough Seize, because we're cool like that, and then VS Seeker for the Pokemon Ranger, be able to knock out that Jolteon EX with a Frosty Thunder this turn. Go ahead and Abyssal Hand, just get a couple more cards, get a couple more options. Well, drawn to 2 Sycamore, so that is plenty of options for me, I guess. And then Frosty Thunder, knock out this Jolteon EX, draw into a couple more cards, and it's a die ball and a couple... Well, it's a die ball and a die ball. So, I mean, I guess that's something. I mean, honestly, I don't know what my opponent can do. Okay, yeah, and apparently my opponent doesn't know what he can do either because he just concedes. Saw that there was nothing... I mean, he could potentially start, like, I guess, what was I trying to say? Ice Beam paralyzing my Kyurem over and over, but with the Rough Seize, that would just mitigate the damage. And honestly, I think his only out there would be, like, try to Ice Beam paralyze me every single turn for the rest of the match to where I deck out, but even then I had an N. I don't know. I just had plenty of outs to where I would have been able to win the game regardless of what my opponent did. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deck. Leave your comment in the comments section below for which non-EX promo card is your favorite and why. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.